This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning, everyone. What a perfect start to a perfect day. It's already extremely light here in Djuma Private Game Reserve, and we've managed to find a herd of elephants on our main access road. This road is used by many animals, and it's always worth checking first thing in the morning. It's another cold one, but you already knew that. And today, Team Wendy, we're going to head west and see what we can find over there. But we will be coming to you live from many different locations across South Africa, who are all going to be in search of many different things. So everyone, wrap up, keep warm, and get ready. It's that time of day for your live bumble through the bush. Welcome aboard, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here with me on the back of my safari vehicle, my rusty yet awesome vehicle that we call Wendy. That's her name. She's been through a lot. The stories she could tell. My name is Lauren, and I do have BK, who I call Beaks, on camera today. And we're trying to get along the access road and, well, you know, roadblock, the usual, in the bush. Hello, guys. It's so lovely to see you first thing in the morning. Was it cold last night? I'm sure. You literally never know what's around the corner in the bush. You really don't. I was having such a quiet drive, but my gut was telling me go west. I'm going to go forward a little bit for you here, BK. Go west, go west. You've always got to keep checking the west. It's barren, and you're going to do a lot of driving, but just keep checking. And lo and behold, we found Tavan Gumi, who everyone's been looking for quite some time. Apparently, he may have crossed back into Djuma. So I'm going to scratch the west, and then I'm going to cross into Simbambili and see if we can get any luck over that side. Look at this little one, right under Mama. No personal space there at all. But everyone, I must remind you, this safari is live. Completely 100% live and interactive. So please do talk to us. Send in your comments and questions using the hashtag WildEarth on Twitter. Or you can use @FC on the YouTube chat. Or you can head over to the WildEarth website. And as long as you've registered, you can submit your questions under the live safari page. And kids, if you're watching, which we really hope you are, we want to hear from you. And you send in your questions via email. And the email address is kidsquestions@wildearth.tv. Kids' questions are always the best. Tell us your name, your age, and I want to know your favorite animal. Okay, we are going to bumble west, and we're going to try and get there now because it's nice and early and the light is perfect. So as we do that, let's take a look at the weather across all our locations.
I don't see it.
There it is. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to andBeyond Phinda Private Game Reserve. So we're trying to see if we still had that side-striped Jackal. Seems to be on a bit of a mission this morning. We followed him actually all the way from the beginning of our airstrip here. You can see there's quite an open area, and we were just hoping he stayed on the road and didn't run off into the grass. My name is Dean, and behind the camera we've got Johan this morning. And same as yesterday, we've actually come to a bit of an open area looking for some cheetah. And we found this side-striped jackal running along this road here, and then he crossed over our airstrip here. He's heading towards there in the distance. There's a couple impala rams and a lone wildebeest bull. This was the area the cheetah was seen yesterday. And it's about this time that they might look to get moving. I think that jackal might have actually just run off. There's a crowned lapwing. They also, same as the side-striped jackal, enjoy these open areas. Oh, I see the jackal still there, just on the edge of that thicket there. A little bit hard to see. I think he might have crossed off into the bush. Yeah, 100%, Mike. It'd be really cool to see some cheetah this morning. We did try yesterday, but we weren't able to actually find them. I'm hoping this morning we'll have better luck. Oh, looks like this little lapwing is looking to get some breakfast this morning. And if you have a look around the top of its head, you'll notice that black band with a white stripe then on top of that, and then another black bit on it. So quite a fitting name, the crowned lapwing. Well, I'm just going to go a little bit more forward. It looks like that jackal's actually lied down, just a little bit out of our reach from here. A lovely morning here. I think while we get closer to this jackal, you're going to head over to Pridelands with Stephen, who would love to say good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the dawn here at Trading Pridelands. How are we all doing today? Good morning, welcome. My name is Steve, joined by Paul on camera, and we parked our car in preparation for a walk, and we found some fresh female leopard tracks. So we are going to follow. Leopards here are not as relaxed as they're on the Sabi sands, but we're going to see if we can make them. This beautiful lady, I'll show you the tracks as they come. We followed them around this kopje. We had them on the other side there. We've come on one side, another side. Here we have the front foot, toes, walking, back pad as the front foot. The back foot, front foot, walking north down this road towards Marula Lane. So we're going to follow. Excited. I'm excited. Mpo, you ready? We're going to go for a little wander. The cool thing about leopards is, as we've seen many times before, they like to walk on the roads. Not always, but for the most part, they like to walk on these tracks. We're going to just follow this track down and keep making a note of the tracks. And if we do lose them, we know where to come back to. Looks like she's being followed by some hyena. There was lots of hyena activity last night. There's the hyena tracks around around our camp, there was enormous amount of noise. They were fighting, they were swimming, they were splashing. They were having an absolute chaotic time around Lovu Dam.
Calls dropped. Sabi, you'll be joining me. I'm at the airstrip now. I've reached last position. I'm unable to relocate. He's looking quite comfortable where he is. So he did stand up when the Impala ran across the airstrip there.
What a beautiful brown snake eagle that we have found this morning on our way out. You see how it is perched right on top of that dead tree, just scanning sides to sides, even though at the present moment looks like it's just facing one direction. Of course, at that perch, that's where that eagle will be hunting from, trying to see the prey that are terrestrial, whether be it snakes or even some other reptiles for that matter that it can eat, at least for the morning. Pretty much looks like predators here at this time of the day that they might be still on the hunt. Good morning and a warm welcome to all our viewers back home. I am Marcus and I've got Odie on camera this morning. Alright, like I mentioned, welcome to and beyond Ngala in Kruger National Park. And I'm glad that our viewers can join us this morning for the beauties and wonders of this bush. As you see one of them on your screen there. So of course I did mention a brown snake eagle. That looks like it's actually I've got the best view in the house when you do think about it. But of course that is how this eagle will be doing its hunt this morning, or even for the rest of this day for that matter, where we'll be looking for snakes that they can try and break their spines with his feet. Oh, sorry about that. So our plan for this morning also will be to head back to that area where we left those lions with their buffalo kill. I doubt much of that carcass will be left by this time. However, I think there is a possibility that we might still find them there, which will be a good thing. It's looking our direction now, that eagle. And you see how huge a head it's got compared to its body size. Yeah, I think for now let's rather leave this eagle to its day while we continue with ours. And in the meantime, we are going to send you over to Tristan, who would like to say morning to the viewers.
Well, we would like to say good morning, and it's a good start to the morning in one way, not so good in the other way, and I'll explain to you shortly. But before that, I should tell you whom I am. As Marcus said, my name is Tristan, and on camera I have David this morning, and it is lovely to have you all aboard. Rusty, we are currently sitting with a dead steenbok that is up a tree right now. Now, this poor little steenbok obviously met its end yesterday, and so the good news is that there is a kill in a tree. The bad news is that there is no leopard here, and the reason I think there's no leopard here is because Shadulu must have gone back to her cubs. This is exactly yesterday where we were driving around. We saw the tracks going out, and then the guys said to me last night they were coming back this way, and they bumped her coming back out of Arethusa onto Triple M and then into this little block again, and then she chased a steenbok last night and killed it and then put it up the tree. So it's her kill, I know that for sure. She was seen here last night on it, but she's nowhere to be seen this morning as yet. So what I want to do is I just want to actually go and check Triple M after we've kind of finished up here to see where she's crossing, and that maybe will give us an indication of where these cubs might be, because often this happens with female leopards when they have kills and they have cubs, is that they eat a little bit, especially young cubs, then they track off, go and basically suckle the cubs, make sure that they're okay, and then they move all the way back again and come to the kill. And if you want to find a den site, this is the way you do it. There's pretty much the best way to find them is once they have a kill, then you just play the patience game and follow them. The problem we have is that this is right on the boundary, and so in all likelihood those cubs are not on our side, or cub, and so finding the den for us is going to be very difficult. It's not to say though that she might not move them. Sometimes when they have kills, female leopards will go and fetch their cubs and actually move them closer to where the kill is so that they don't have to go as far and run the risk of losing their meal. So I'm hoping that that's going to be the case, is that she might bring them into the drainage line to the south of us here, where she came from yesterday, and onto the Djuma side. That would be perfect, I think. But let's see what happens. Lorna, so steenboks generally, a lot of times people see them on their own, but they're not normally on their own. They're a monogamous species, so once they find a mate, they stay together for a life, basically. And so the two of them kind of roam around within a small little territory. So a lot of the time one might just be lying down or feeding somewhere further away, and you just see the one and you're like, okay, that's just a single steenbok, and off you go. But most of the time they're in little pairs together, and occupying a territory. And so you'll probably find that there is is this a female? It looks like a female here, David. There's a male running around somewhere here trying to find his mate, which is quite sad. Although it does look like a fairly young steenbok too. No, maybe not actually. Now that I'm looking through binos. Yeah, it's definitely a little female. It seems like the guys are all following up on various different things. So you would have heard the Nkuhumas there. That's on the eastern side of the reserve, somewhere around Cheetah Plains. And then there's two Telematis and the S8 male in Buffelshoek as well. So lots kind of happening on the lion front too this morning. All right, so I'm going to have a little scratch around. I just want to go and check the tracks just so I can see if we can understand where she's moving. And then, we'll kind of bumble around and come back to this area a little bit later. I'm sure she's going to show up at some point. In the meantime, though, we're going to send you across to Phinda.
Welcome back, everyone, to andBeyond Phinda Private Game Reserve, where we've managed to catch up to this side-striped jackal. It's finally decided to have a bit of a lie down. It's quite a beautiful setting, just off to the back, right inside of this jackal. The sun's starting to rise. Myself and Hyena pretty much doing the same thing as this jackal, waiting for that sun to come up and warm up a little bit. And there it comes, just starting to rise above the horizon there. Have a look at those ears. You'll notice how they're moving side to side and scanning. So I was asking, are the side-striped jackal monogamous the same way that the black-backed jackal are? They are indeed. They are monogamous. So the mating normally occurs or happens during, I would say probably June, July. Oh, there it stands up. There you can see the side stripe. That's what I was hoping for. If you look along the side of the body, quite a distinct black line. And that grey sort of frosty top, and then the white tip on the tail. Quite special to see the side-striped jackal there, but less common, or at least a bit more timid than the black-backed jackal, and slightly larger than the black-backed jackal also. It's actually not running back towards where we came down this morning. It's going to turn around. So we can stick with him a little bit longer. I was asking, are side-striped jackal the same size as black-backed jackal? Oh, bit of scent marking. No, they're slightly larger, a little bit larger than the black-backed jackal. He's actually walking on our airstrip now. I have a feeling he's going to cross right over, and he's starting to head towards where two male cheetah were seen yesterday afternoon. You'll notice if you have a look how he's lifted his front right leg like that, and he did seem to have a bit of a limp, and I wonder, it doesn't seem that obvious now, but I wonder if he's actually hurt his leg there. Quite clearly see that white cotton ball tip on the tail there. He's obviously scent marking his territory as he's going along. Go a little bit more forward again. Just seem to be sort of zigzagging along the airstrip. You can see that he's got a bit of a limp, it seems like it. Dizzy was saying always seems to be some sort of action at the airstrip, or on the airstrip. Yeah, you're quite right, actually. The last couple of weeks it's been quite busy on the airstrip, especially for, the animals that prefer the more open areas like the cheetah and the side-striped jackal. You tend to find a lot of impala and wildebeest. So he's literally approaching. I'm going to stick with him. Approaching the exact area where these cheetah were seen. So with him still in the area and being so close to where the cheetah were last seen, it does tell me that the cheetah aren't in the area anymore. But he has been sniffing around there and following around, so I definitely think he's smelt them and he knows they were here. I think he's crossed off into the long grass here.
Hi, I'm Dee from the south coast of England. Today I was told I have won the most amazing prize to go to Marataba. Oh, I can't believe it. I became hooked on WildEarth last year when I was trying to escape COVID, and animals are my thing. I just love them and I love what WildEarth does. So that's why I wanted to become an explorer. Just so looking forward to going out to Marataba. Want to do a walking safari. Thank you so much, WildEarth.
Sign up to be an explorer today, and it could be you jetting off on an all-expenses-paid-for safari experience. WildEarth Explorers. It's in your nature.
Hi, I'm Nikki, your guide here at andBeyond in Ngala. So my favorite animal in the African bush definitely has to be the zebra, because like people, with our fingerprints, every single zebra has a different stripe pattern. And, of course, a group of zebras together is called the dazzle. How unique is that? Come and join me or one of my colleagues here in Ngala for a sunrise and sunset safari on WildEarth.
This is a battle of two great carnivores of the African wilderness. You don't want to be under those jaws. Definitely, this round goes to the lion. Look at that. Fantastic.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth Daily.
Hi everyone, my name's Daniel Fisher and I'm going to be your guide this afternoon. I'm looking really forward to taking you through and showing you all the beautiful places here at andBeyond in Ngala. If you have any questions, please register on our website. Once registered, go to the live page feed and post your questions underneath the live feed. Join me on my next safari through andBeyond in Ngala on WildEarth. Send me live questions through the WildEarth website and I'll answer them live from the African bush.
Good morning again, everybody. Welcome back to Pridelands, where we found those female leopard tracks again, but then they came back. So there was a double set of them, up and down. We're just trying to figure out which is the fresher of the two. So we thought we might just sit in a moment in the sunshine and just have a listen to see if any of our wildlife might give us a clue as to where this leopard may be. Tracks were incredibly fresh. Hence our urgency before to carry on with them. There have been an incredible amount of leopard activity on this property in the last 2 weeks that I've been here. I haven't seen one. We've probably seen fleeting glimpses of something moving away in the grass, but haven't been able to confirm it. They've been calling, there's been tracks, there's been hoisted kills. But we don't go back to those areas of the hoisted kills while on foot because the chances are we'll just chase a leopard away. If you ever do find a kill via that means, then generally you don't go back again on foot. Leopards are quite skittish people on foot, but vehicles have been following up on some of these kills after dark, and they've had a fair bit of luck in the last 2 weeks. A number of different leopards. There's a mating pair that came in from the north the other day that was seen. Pixie Pan and her 2 youngsters have been seen individually. And the tracks we're following just now was a small female. That small female was seen on an impala hoisted in a knobthorn just around the corner here 2 days ago. But in the daytime she's been noticed to be quite skittish. That is the nature of the elusive leopard, everybody. It's what allows them to be so successful and to survive in areas that get close to human habituation or human habitation. There are a huge number of leopards living around our major cities and in places like India, very low density areas but with high density people. Jackie, there are plenty of leopards here. This area is just very new to ecotourism. So the leopard habituation program is underway, and what that entails is the need to track them, find them and spend time with them in the car and to follow them until eventually they get relaxed. Sabi Sands leopards have been habituated since the 1960s, so the individual leopards that are born there are born to habituated, relaxed mums. I think many of you saw Tristan's wonderful sighting last night with Tiani's cubs. Now, leopards that aren't habituated, cubs won't behave like that. You won't see them, they'll be hidden away. But because the mum's relaxed, the cubs relax. And so if cubs are relaxed at that age, then they grow up to be very relaxed as well. But their nature, their survival instinct is one to be elusive and to sneak and to slither away. That is what enables them to survive. But habituation, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the term, is the ability to make an animal relaxed towards a vehicle so that they don't see it as a negative influence. There's no negative behavior connotated or associated with that vehicle. It doesn't get hurt, they don't get killed, they don't have anything stolen from them, and life carries on. So the initial process of habituation takes time. But once you get a female relaxed and she has cubs, those cubs relax almost immediately if you can find them. If you can't find them, obviously you need to do a little bit more work. But the skittish male leopards we've seen in Djuma and the Sabi sands are ones that have come from the Kruger, ones that haven't been viewed almost daily by ecotourism vehicles and tracked almost daily. And individuals like Tingana, how he got relaxed was he was mating with females in the Sabi sands that were very relaxed, and hence he in himself became relaxed. But it is a process, and it is something that has begun here. There's a tracker, Morris, who pretty much every day is tracking them down. He's getting fleeting glimpses of them as they move off, and then vehicles are following up. But that process will continue, and once you get a couple females very relaxed in their cubs, suddenly you have a population of habituated cats. By no means, everybody, does that mean they are tame. By no means does that mean you can get out and scratch them. No. Please don't ever think that. I just learnt that the vehicle brings with it no associated threat. As you've seen, some of the amazing viewing that Djuma provides. Okay, so we're just going to sit in silence for a moment, see if we can hear any loud calls. Very quiet this morning, but yes, Val, there is a beautiful warm glow. I wish it would warm us a bit more. It's still very cold. The last few kilometre walk has been pretty good for the bloodstream. But we shall continue on now and go to the place of the last tracks and figure out if we can figure out exactly which is the direction. But it seems like she's done a loop and is headed back the direction that she came. We're going to head back into that direction to see if we can have any luck. Okay, we're going to carry on, see if we can find these tracks and send you back to Dean.
Welcome back, everyone, to andBeyond Phinda Private Game Reserve, where we're heading towards the northern end of the airstrip. Just trying to see if we can find any tracks or signs of these two male cheetah that we're looking for. As you'll notice, the soil in front of us is like a hard red clay-rich soil. It does make tracking a little bit more difficult. So we're just going to have to drive nice and slow, and hopefully we come across some tracks. just see how the sunlight's starting to peer through the gaps in the bush over here. It's such a lovely time of day. Copy. So I think what we...
Beautiful morning. We haven't moved on yet. We're just going to stay here for a moment longer. It's always nice to just park on a log, let the sun warm yourselves up, and the dual purpose of listening to the bush wake up. The birds are starting to call. It's been a very cold morning. Dry winters are so special. Very good chance of cats still moving at this hour, still hunting. And see, the favourite thing about predator tracking is finding them, of course. That's always very exciting, tracking a cat and finding it. But that always, the potential of finding one is also very exciting. Obviously, finding them is no better feeling. But knowing that you've walked exactly where this animal has walked, and any moment you could possibly stumble upon them, it really does bring one into the present moment. Bring one into exactly what's going on. Your senses get very, very, very tuned in. Your hearing, your smell, even your feeling, your skin starts to prickle with anticipation. And it's hard to explain the feeling when you do happen to find a lion or a leopard, and if you don't actually see them, especially with a leopard, and you just hear it growl, and you still haven't seen it, you just hear this low rumble. Very hard to explain to you what that feeling feels like. In the moment, it's it's pretty frightening, but as it washes over you afterwards, it can be very therapeutic. Hard to explain. Obviously, we don't walk out here with the intention of getting reactions. But leopards, as I said before, are very elusive, and they might be in the very thicket nearby to where you're walking, and you still haven't seen them, and they give you that very low warning of, okay, don't come any closer. That's why we walk quietly, we walk silently, we don't talk while we walk, so as to be able to hear those very low frequency sounds. Okay, well, we're going to continue this time. Yeah, send you over to Ngala. Seems like they've found some animals.
Welcome back to andBeyond Ngala. So look at what we have found for you. So we have made our way to this area where we last left these lions yesterday. So as you can see, they're still in that same area, feeding, quite a lot of them feeding. And that male that you are seeing on your screen there wasn't here when we left these lions yesterday. And at first we thought it was the Birmingham male, but it looks like it's not here. This one looks a little bit bigger than Birmingham male, and one of the Ross males is here as well, right in front of that other male that you see there, feeding together, sharing that beast. And they don't really look violent towards each other, which makes me think that that other male is probably from the Birmingham breakaway, that they know him. Of course, they wouldn't really be welcoming of him if it was just an intruder that they haven't seen before. As you can see, having beautiful breakfast of theirs there, or they goes licking, probably trying to pluck off some hair. This quite a beautiful boy also while at it. And you hear all the sounds. Oh, look at that. Alright, and sorry to our viewers, we just have to wipe our lens because of the mist every now and then. Oh, there he goes back. And you saw when that Birmingham male, like the Ross male, tend a bit violent towards the other male. So he is still feeding, but he just went down like on his knees. So that will be one other sign of submission, showing to the Ross male that I do acknowledge your power. You are in charge. But still I have to feed. And look, listen to the lionesses as well, having a go at the youngsters. So it looks like now that it's that carcass, there's fewer and fewer meat left. They're getting even more violent towards each other. So from here forth, looks like it's gonna be just survival of the fittest. As you can see, the cub walking there. Looks like it's got no space to feed at the moment. Protein-filled breakfast indeed there. Yeah, So that Ross male, as you can see, got even closer to that other male there. But I think they still have got enough for them to share. Look at how big that lioness is that's just walking past there. Or just blocking our view for that matter. And sorry about that, reviewers. So like I mentioned earlier, occasionally we have to wipe these lenses because it is still a bit cold, a bit misty this side. Look at that one with the rib cage. Like there isn't a lot of meat left in there, but as you can see, those cubs are getting stuck in there, hey? Sorry, Jackson, I missed that last part of your question. So Jackson, you would like to know whether or not it's enough to feed the entire pride. Well, because this pride is the ones that killed this buffalo. I think it was yesterday morning. So it was, of course, enough for them. But now, as they have fed off it for the past while, so there isn't enough meat left, and hence that violence that you saw earlier. And of course, from here, chances are, with this carcass getting smaller and smaller by the second, those males are the ones that are most likely to claim whatever will be left for themselves. As you can see, look at that one just lying on her back. So the others, of course, have got bits and pieces, but yeah, as you can see, most of it is going. It won't be here for much long now. So they will have to move probably even before midday from what looks like it's left of that carcass. As you can see, the vultures as well there waiting for their turn. Those are the hooded vultures, and as you can see, some perched on that other tree there. Just waiting maybe for these lions to leave so that they will descend in this area, try and get bits and pieces of whatever will be left of this carcass, which I doubt will be much, judging by how these lions are going about it. Hey. So now the males are feeding, females feeding, as well as these youngsters. That's why time and again you will hear that growling. That cub there that looks like it's really struggling. And look at how small those canines are. So as you can see also by the size of that cub as well as the canines that it still has got a long way to go. Oh, listen to that. There goes our wipe again. Look at how cute that one is. But looks like she doesn't have any space to feed. And of course, when it gets closer to these older lions, that's when you hear those growling, telling those cubs to stay away. And of course, if these cubs knows what's good for them, they will indeed stay away. bit longer, stick to these lions, see what they get to, even if it gets more violent than this. In the meantime, let's send you over to Phinda.
Welcome back, everyone, to andBeyond Phinda Private Game Reserve. We're on our search for the cheetah. We've come to one of the more sort of permanent watering holes. And there's a couple of hippos. Oh, there's a little one that just popped up. The last couple of days have been a bit colder than what it is this morning, and it's been quite nice to see a lot of the hippos out of the water. It's not too often you see them out of the water during the day. So always nice to see them when they are. You really then can appreciate the size of hippos. You forget how big they are. You just see the head in the water, but as soon as they're standing out of the water, you're definitely reminded how big they are. You'll notice how the little ones don't actually stay up all that long. They sort of pop up and then have a look around and then go back down under. White-faced whistling ducks and two white-breasted cormorants. Looks like they're getting nest-building material.
Hello, my name is Marnie Kell from the Greater Toronto Area of Ontario, Canada. I am most excited to meet some of the guides that I feel I already know. And I'm going to very much enjoy riding along with them to see what they see most days while they're broadcasting these safaris to us, while also staying at the beautiful Simbambili Lodge. WildEarth has brought so much to my life, and I am thrilled and grateful to have this opportunity. Thank you.
Sign up to be an explorer today, and it could be you jetting off on an all-expenses-paid-for safari experience. WildEarth Explorers, it's in your nature.
There's a grounding earthiness to this place that we feel in our ancestors. It's a place where believe it or not, we evolved as a human species, and anyone who's come to Africa will understand that. The connectivity that the continent has to the person and to people's souls is next level. I'm thoroughly looking forward to taking you on your next adventure when we explore all the small and big things.
Catch up with the guides daily here on WildEarth.
Looks like it's a very difficult climb because every time it tries to climb, the ground is breaking, so it slides down. But it's the only one. Look at that. That is the call of desperation with the cub. It's like, what are you doing, mommy? Oops. Oof.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
Hello, I'm Marna, your WildEarth safari guide from andBeyond Ngala. What I really like about connecting with WildEarth viewers is that we get to speak to viewers instantly, and I get to show you this beautiful property. If you want to ask me a question, register on the WildEarth website. Simply head over to the live safari page and you can submit your questions there. Join me or one of the other guides twice a day on WildEarth.
Welcome back, everyone, and good morning to the viewers that might have just joined us. We are on andBeyond Phinda Private Game Reserve. We're just busy admiring the landscape. Beautiful mountains, Lebombo Mountains in the background, and we're on close to one of the watering holes here in the southern part of the reserve. Myself and Johan doing a little bit of birding here. And there's a few hippos also with us. Some white-faced whistling ducks. Egyptian goose, and to the right of that there's a blacksmith lapwing. And that's that blacksmith lapwing. I agree with you 100%, Rob. It is definitely a beautiful scene. Very spectacular. I really love this time of day as the sun starts to come up and you sit still for a little bit and just listen to the bush and watch the bush come alive. There's two white-faced whistling ducks that I mentioned earlier. You can hear the almost machine gun sounds of the Rudza Palace off to my left. Also here, it's quite a thick area, drainage line on the opposite side of this watering hole. I think what we're going to do, we're going to carry on with our search for these cheetah. They've been a little bit elusive this morning and yesterday. But in the meantime, you're going to head over to Ngala with another type of cat.
Yeah, good luck today in finding those cheetahs. I just saw what happened there. So that's the other male we're talking about, which we think it's likely to be from the Birmingham breakaway. Look at that. He's got bits and pieces stuck on his teeth. And the other roast male that was feeding there just stood up now and walked away. It looked like he might have had his fill. And of course, he was here since, yesterday morning, I think. And we're not sure exactly what time this one might have arrived here, because when we left them yesterday, he was not part of these lions. Looks like he's still at it, still feeding. And a few more members also, as you might see on that picture, have actually went and rested in the nearby shades. So it looks like most of them also have had their fill, because just one by one are leaving that carcass. However, there are some that are still heading or going at it quite strongly, like that male that you see there. I just listen to that, him trying to rip off that, I think it's a buffalo foot, or any for that matter. But yeah, as you can see, he's having a time of his life there. Looking at his size, it looks like he is pretty much maybe the same litter of that Birmingham male, because it looks like just about the same size. Yeah, very interesting question from Jason from Michigan. I'm glad you could join us this morning. So that male that you saw earlier, which is the roast male, him and his brother are the dominant males of this pride. But so because this pride, about some years back, it was quite a lot of lions together. They broke away like that. So this is the resident Birmingham pride that we've got. So there is also a Birmingham breakaway. So we think that this other male, that one that we've got on the screen there, it's most likely from the breakaway, because it looks like one male from this Birmingham pride, but that's not quite him, because there are some features that we are looking, and this one doesn't really have those. So it's not necessarily part of the coalition, but they're from the other breakaway pride from this one. So these are the ones that these two dominant males are chasing away from these prides, or at least they're trying. As you can see, he's still in here, and there isn't that much of hostility with these one and this resident pride, seeing that they already know each other. Like time and again they will have a go at each other, but as you can see that they look quite relaxed, very welcoming of him. So these are the ones that ideally will now be leading a nomadic life. But yeah, he is still around, as you can see there. Look at that cub. So earlier, because it was a lot of these lions feeding there, some of these cubs didn't really have space to go feed. And because now some other members have left this carcass, so it gives at least chance for these youngsters to be feeding as well. As you can see there, it looks like it's actually feeding on the head. Oh, look at this one. There's beat also here. Still a youngster. I'm sure his teeth are not as developed yet, but of course he'll use this as practice. Look at that one shaking himself. You just have to love the cubs. See how cute. Also, they've got the hanging bellies, but of course, every chance they get, they go for that carcass. Just the rib cage left there. Also a bit part of the head and also some feet that I saw. I'm just glad that it's Pride and our continuously taking down something as substantial as these buffaloes, which will be enough for at least all of them for a few days.
Welcome back, everyone, to andBeyond Phinda Private Game Reserve, where, as you can see, we're still at this watering hole. A little bit of birding, spending some time with these hippo. Actually seems like there might be two little ones, little hippo calves, with this pod of hippo.
There's a sort of buffalo crossing south over Wildcat at the prominent euphorbia.
Welcome back to andBeyond Ngala to viewers. We are still in this area where we've got the Birmingham Pride that are currently feeding on a buffalo bull carcass, which they have killed, I think, early hours of the morning yesterday. Because that's the first time we saw them with this carcass, and at that time there was still a lot of meat left, but of course it is a lot of animals that of course it wouldn't have gone a very long way. As you can see, not a lot is left now, but yeah, for those bits and pieces that are still left, some Pride members, as you can see, they are still feeding on it. And look at that male. So if I got that question, Well, Zorek, you want to know how long can a pride go between males? All right, so yeah, Zorek, that's a very good question actually. So that always depend on situations or the size of the prey that they've taken down. So if it's something like this buffalo, which they have had since early hours of yesterday morning, so it lasted them the whole of yesterday, and as you can see now, there isn't a lot of meat left, but they're still feeding. And of course it was big, much as it's a lot of animals, but something like this can last them maybe a good 3-4 days coming. But of course ideally they would want to hunt before that, because there are a few of these lionesses that are lactating. As you can see, there are cubs in this pride. So these cubs, much as they go for the meat, as the case is here, they also still suckle from these lionesses. And those lionesses that are suckling these cubs will need to eat a lot more than they would if they had no cubs. So that's always depending on those factors. And of course these lions are opportunistic like that. So even if they've just fed or still feeding, as the case is here, and another opportunity for a hunt presents itself, they will definitely take it. So if maybe for instance, another buffalo was to walk into this area, so they will definitely try take that one and then just keep at it. Like if they don't need to move, they won't move. So you can see some of them are lying on the road there. They've had their fill, so, but still around here, looking out even for potential dangers from intruding lions. But more than anything, they're just resting here. Because as you might think, like they've been feeding, chances are even through the night they were feeding as we see them. And the vultures playing the waiting game, of course, waiting for these lions to leave this area. Oh, that one is up. You look at it, just paying on top of the other lion there. Yeah, I think still all gonna to stick with these lions here. And in the meantime, let's send you over to Pridelands.
Thanks, Marcus. Well, we've come out onto the other side on what we call Marula Lane, and the road here has been dragged last night, and it's beautiful, beautiful for tracks. So without us having found any of our leopard tracks, I would like to know from you, the audience. We have 2 tracks here. This is track 1. Who stepped here? And this is track 2. Who stepped here? Track 1 and track 2. See how many of you back home have been paying attention over the coming weeks, the past weeks. Here is a very nice track. We're looking at close to 9 centimeters. You can see there's clearly a hoof. Clearly a hoof, and there underneath is the front foot, and there on top is the back foot stepping. There's track 1. You can see it over there as well quite clearly where the front foot is stepped and their back foot is nearly stepped directly on it, but sometimes they don't always get exactly. And then over here we've got another animal that's almost done the same thing. It's got a few more toes with a pad, front foot, back foot. Often they do stand directly on top of their foot, but for example here's the front and the back, means they're walking a little bit quicker. There we're looking at about 2.5 to 3 centimeters in size. Track number 2. See how many of our viewers have been paying attention. Send the answers, hashtag WildEarth, them in the YouTube chat stream. Don't forget to use number 1 and number 2 as well. Beautiful to see the road in this condition, this mint powdery condition. It's almost as if we're about to get our snowboards out and go for a cruise down the slope. Chris, you have got number 1 100% correct. Well done, Chris. That's a big bravo for you. You have been paying attention. That makes me proud. It's a very nice example of number 1 over here as well. In this perfect conditions, you can clearly see the front foot there, and you can clearly see the back hoof. And if anyone else got the same answer as Chris, you got 100% right for number 1. It is indeed a kudu. And it is indeed a kudu, and there's a family of them that walked here. Now, I wonder if any of you have gotten an answer for number 2. This very small pad. It doesn't have 3 lobes. It's got sort of 2. You can't see any claws. It's a 2-lobed pad. 1, 2, 3, 4 toes heading in that direction. Another one of our very common organisms that we find around here. Oh my goodness. Indigo Girl. We've got the A-team watching this morning. Indigo Girl has got it correct. Very happy, Indigo Girl. Thank you for getting the answer right. It is indeed a genet. If anyone else got the answer for genet, please do give yourselves a round of applause. Now, genet tracks, everyone, is quite easy to remember. The track size is about the equivalent to your thumbprint. Okay, so that's quite nice to sort of measure that sort of size versus that. Just double that in size and you get a civet. Double that again and you start getting to the other sort of animals. But don't forget, this is a 2-lobed at the back. So very, very nice. We've got a lot more tracks that we've discovered on this piece of stretch. So if we have another moment, we can definitely have a look. Stretch the legs. But we will find some more tracks, label them number 3 and 4, and in the meantime, I'll send you back over Dean in Phinda.
Welcome back, everyone, to andBeyond Phinda Private Game Reserve. And we're still spending some time with these hippo over here.
Damon, Mark Damon.
Doesn't look like they're actually getting up to too much. I think they probably would have been grazing last night in one of these open grassland areas and headed back into the water a bit earlier this morning. And they'll probably spend most of the afternoon in the water doing exactly what they're doing now. See, sometimes they'll actually rest their backs on each other's, their heads on each other's back. Mike's asking, what do I think will make hippos want to change dams? So what it can be sometimes is if a dam's already got a resident sort of territorial dominant bull, one of the males, he might then push out the other males, less dominant males, and they would then look to find another watering hole where where they could go, where another bull will then accept them. That's often the reason. That also, and then dropping water levels. As soon as water levels drop a little bit lower than they would like, they would then move to more deeper watering holes. And then it's another factor would be feeding in the area. If there's not enough feeding grass or grazing material in the immediate area, they might move to another watering hole that will have good grazing a little bit closer to that watering hole. So, but I think often the case is definitely the conflict between resident bull hippos pushing out other males. So you might have one resident bull here, dominant bull in this pod of hippos, and you sometimes then find a smaller group of males known as a bachelor, sort of a bachelor herd almost. And those would then be submissive males or males that have been pushed out of the family group. Very similar to what happens in elephants. Those of the viewers that have been lucky enough to actually spend some time with hippos would see sometimes they will actually, especially towards the end of the day, when the sun's starting to go down, they become a little bit more vocal and active. And they do that sort of classic yawn, opening of the, or gaping of the mouth. And a lot of the time that's actually the resident bull. That's almost doing like a display to other bulls. It's a bit of a territorial behavior. Not much of that going on this morning. Like I said a bit earlier, I think they're just trying to actually rest and warm up. They would have been out most of the night grazing. You see, I think those white-faced whistling ducks are doing the same thing, trying to warm up. It's quite picturesque with their reflection in the water like that. The water's very still, not much wind this morning, definitely not as much as yesterday. So it's a nice, calm day this morning.
Suspended above Kenya's Masai Mara is a breathtaking lodge where unrivaled service goes hand in hand with extraordinary wildlife sightings. Ngala Mara offers a quiet place where guests have the opportunity to reconnect with the world again. Sign up to be a WildEarth explorer before the end of July, and you and a friend could win a 3-night stay at this award-winning lodge. WildEarth Explorers, it's in your nature. The importance of forests cannot be underestimated. Over 1 billion people live in and around forests, depending on them for fuel, food, medicine, and building materials. The Wildlife and Environment Society of South Africa, WESA, is the national implementer for a program called LEAF. The LEAF program makes use of indigenous forests grown on school properties to teach pupils about biodiversity. This directly instills a sense of ownership of the natural surroundings and reconnects children with our biomes and heritage. WESA needs your help to bring nature back to schools. Ask your school to join the program through the link on their website. Together with WESA, you can help take this incredible program to schools across the country.
Okay, there's another big male coming in from our left here. Another big male, look at this. This is the one. Now you're going to see sparks fly, guys. Guys, it doesn't get better than this, eh? Yes, unbelievable. Africa, I love you, eh?
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
Yeah, welcome back to andBeyond Ngala, everyone. So you see that male that was feeding just a while back, it looks like he's up now, but still very undecisive about whether or not he wants to be close to this carcass or still feeding, or he's actually looking for a shade that he can actually go rest. It looks like he's decided to walk away. As you see there, walking away to the direction of where that roast male went. But I don't think they will be sharing a shade much like they shared a male just now. Chances are he'll just get his own shade that he can at least rest for the morning. Quite a good looking boy, as you can see. Looks quite healthy, strong. Look at that. One of those lionesses welcoming of him. Or maybe not that. Look at him. Looks like a bit of flaming grimace there that the other roast brother won't like very much if he did see that. See a bit of head rubbing, sort of ascending their bones there. Quite a good looking chap, hey? Just looking for a shade. See how his belly is hanging there. Looks bloated here. Look at that. So Faith, that's a negative. They don't really get along. So, but with these ones, because I mentioned it's a breakaway pride that was once part of this Birmingham pride, so of course they will know each other. But other than that, if that lion was a stranger, then there would be a fight. And of course, this Birmingham pride has got numbers, so it wouldn't really work so well for that one, especially since one of the roast males are here. So they didn't get along in that regard. So the only time where lions of different prides do meet up and then there are no fights, it's at that stage where they start leading a nomadic life, where these males, when they come of an age, maybe at around 3 years, or sometimes even just before that, when they get kicked out of this pride, start leading a nomadic life, that's when they can be accommodating of another nomad from a different pride, since they will be in the same situation, same predicament. That's the only time when one can join and make a coalition with the rest. But other than that, no. So as you can feel or hear that sound, that one just holding on not ready to let go. As you can see there, they'll be growling every now and then as they're feeding like this, because much as they are cooperative, especially when it comes to hunting, bringing down something as big as this buffalo. But as soon as it's down, then it's table manners out of the window from there. So it's just every lion for itself. And hence sometimes this hostility towards each other. But as you saw with the ones we saw earlier, where that male was heading or head rubbing with the females, that's what will happen mostly after feeding like this, because they will be violent towards each other. But after that, at the end of the day, they're still one pride or one family. So when they do those head rubbings, that's to be to reaffirm each other of their tight bonds. And then, of course, as you can see, or you might see, they sometimes have got blood like that, because, of course, when they're feeding, they won't really give much attention of whether they get dirty or not. So it's more about survival, having had something to eat. And, of course, there will be some grooming also after this. So grooming sessions, head rubbing, those kind of things it's what helps these lions with their lasting bonds. Lion is going for the leg of that buffalo. I think that's what that other male was feeding on. So since he has walked away, that lioness has claimed it for herself there. And of course it's getting warmer and warmer now, which makes me think that all these lions that would have had their fill, there is a good chance that they will leave this area, go to the nearest shade to rest, until if they think maybe that there's still a bit more that they can come for that carcass, that's what they will be doing. Look at that cub. Look at that. Hey. Just a few seconds ago was feeding on that buffalo, and now it's circling. It's more like getting a dessert after a main meal there. But of course, that's quite evident. Remember, I mentioned earlier that these lionesses that are actually circling these cubs will need to feed a bit more because of that reason. So for now, let's hand you over to Pridelands, see what they've got in store for us that side.
Welcome back. Thanks, Marcus. Well, everybody, we're going to continue with the field observation. So if you are playing the game this morning, write down number 3 and then number 4, because we're going to do 2 now. We're going to show you number 3, and then you're going to look at number 4 as well, and then you're going to send your answers through. Don't forget to put down the numbers 3 and the numbers 4. Now, over here, we've got an animal that has stepped. Now, if you don't know, everybody, it's okay. You're going to learn. Here he is as well. He's also done this pattern over here, a very particular pattern that I'm helping you quite nicely with. And if you don't know what it is, that's okay. You will learn this morning. Some of the viewers who've been watching before most certainly have seen this track before. It's a very characteristic track in the sand. Makes the shape, and it doesn't look like it's left too much of an imprint. Okay, so that's number 3. I think everybody's got a good look at number 3. And we're going to quickly go over to number 4, and then you can start sending through your answers. Now, number 4, I'm actually going to put it here. I've got 2 number 4s. They are the same. But what I'm looking at is this individual over here. And he's here next to the kuru to give you an idea of the size. Here he is here. There's the front foot and the back foot. Here's the other track. Okay, so there's one there. There. So there's a front foot and the back foot. That is number 4. So the purpose of field observations is to check your knowledge, to see what you've learnt, and if you haven't remembered the track, don't worry, I'll explain exactly why it is what it is. Okay, I think everybody's had enough time to see number 4. We shall go back to number 3 and have a look and see if anybody's managed to come up with any answers. Just as an example for number 4, here is another one. Number 4 here next to a spurfowl track. There's the spurfowl track there. So it just goes to show you how small this little fellow is. There he is there again. Front foot, back foot. Very sharp hoof. Very sharp hoof. Okay, hit me, Elton. Hit me with the answers. The reason I put the knife down, everyone, if you're not familiar, is just to get a measurement of these tracks. And here you can see that this individual here, there's one of the feet. It's only about 3 centimeters. Very small. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Jessica, well, Elton, can we start with number 3? We're on number 3. Let's get some answers for 3 first, and then we shall go to number 4. But number 4 is not an impala, I'm afraid, Jessica. This individual steps in a very characteristic L or upside down 7 fashion. Badge is 100% on it this morning. I'm very impressed, Badge. Very impressed. Let's see if anyone else has managed to get the same answer that Badge has gotten. It's very, very clever. Now, what this animal's done is that 2 feet have landed. Those are the back feet, and these are the 2 front feet. It goes like this, puts 2 feet down, and then it lands on its back feet. 2 feet down, and its back feet come. So this very L or 7 shape is a very characteristic sort of design for this type of animal, obviously when it's moving. And something that's nice to look at. Lara Moore has also got it right. Now, if I put my glove on and I show you the difference between my fingerprint, that's not very clear. But imagine I had a hoof. The hoof would do that, and if I had hair all over my feet, it would do that. So I was taught by my tracker years ago that this animal, the scrub hare, looks like it's running around with socks on. Because unless the substrate's very, very muddy, you're not going to get a clear track of it. It's going to look like it's been moving with socks, which my glove has done the same. So scrub hare for number 3, well done. I'm going to move on to number 4. Keep your tally, because at the end we're going to count the number, and then you're going to judge yourself on what you got right and what you got wrong. And it's okay if you got it wrong. We learn. That's all right. It's all about lessons in life. Now, number 4, we've got this hoofed animal, and it's very clearly standing on its front foot. There's its front foot. There is its back foot. Look how sharp it is. Now, impala is twice the size of that, almost. Maybe not twice, maybe about that much bigger. And impala can't step on their front foot. Peter and Darcy Miller reckon a duiker. Now, duiker is an animal that people will confuse this one with, but the duiker, their track is much rounder, and they do justify like this, but the track is much rounder and blunter at the front. This animal is very sharp, very, very sharp, and the direction of his movement, the toes are pointing straight, whereas the duiker is very duck-footed. The duiker would be pointing out at angles like that on the track, and the front foot of the duiker seems a lot smaller because it almost looks like they're digging their toes into the floor. But this is an animal very similar to the duiker and quite often confused, but the track is very straight. Very straight. I wonder if anyone is going to get it. It is one we discussed the other day, but nice to see the comparison versus the kudu. The kudu, like here, the duiker's got a sort of rounded to the track as well, like that. Hooper Novi, you have said Steenbok. You are 100% correct. Steenbok for straight toe. See how straight that is? The Deka got a very rounded front. Very rounded, and they kick their foot in. So that is a Steenbok. Now, the Steenbok justifies again. Front foot, back foot, front foot, back foot. Like the kudu, doesn't always step exactly on it, doesn't always have to step exactly there, but the general pattern of moving is one of registering, direct registering, or justify, whereby the animal physically steps on their front foot. It's a way of moving quietly, making less disturbance in the soil and on the ground, and obviously these animals are prone to be hunted, so they like to walk very quietly so that they don't make any noise while they're walking. So there we go. That's number 4. Keep your tally going, because we've got a few more tracks we're going to do this morning. This road is just beautiful for tracks this morning, so we're going to keep going. And if you are ready for another one, we can shoot on to another one. Or we might take some time. Okay, well, we're going to link back to Marcus first of all, and then when you come back, we're going to allocate a few more tracks for you.
Well, a very good luck to Steve with his trekking. And of course, we are still here with the Birmingham Pride. That looks like here they are finishing that buffalo carcass. And a few members, as you can still quite close to each other like that, shows you that that carcass is actually even getting smaller and smaller by the minute. So as you can see, the cubs are there, the lionesses are there, so it's just those. That particular cub that we've got on screen there, just a moment ago, it looks like he was busy with the tail of that buffalo. So I'm just hoping that maybe he picks it up, that we all can be able to see it. But of course now we've got that one on the way. Not cooperative at all, or actually pushing its way in into that carcass. And so I remember yesterday I had a question from Jojo, which I am actually hoping that Jojo is or has joined us for the sunrise safari, where he asked me whether or not do elephants get snake bites. And of course I did a bit of research. So like I mentioned yesterday, these animals actually do have mutual respect. And with animals like snakes, they will always bring out their forked tongue just to sort of gather chemicals around where they are. So they are able to tell pretty much the difference or the size of the animal that's approaching their way. And of course, if it's something as big as elephants, Jojo, snakes, for them, like, it's not really worth it, because the one time that they can bite another animal will be to defend themselves. And if that animal approaching is potentially food for them. And if they find that it's something like an elephant, and of course for a huge animal like an elephant, it will need a huge amount of venom to sort of kill it. But yeah, if elephant gets bitten by snakes, apparently they can die. But that's rare. That's a very rare encounter. Maybe 1 in 1,000 chances of that happening. But if they do bite them, then they can die. And actually, thanks very much, Jojo, for that, because that was food for thought for me, something that didn't really put a lot of mind to before you asked me that question. Thanks very much for that question. I'm just hoping that you are watching this sunrise safari. And of course, as guides, we are grateful for these questions that we get from our viewers, because believe it or not, some of them Oh, pretty much all of them do better us as guides in a way. So we do appreciate those kind of questions. And of course, our lions, as you can see, they are just resting. There's the grooming that I mentioned earlier. That, after feeding, of course, there will be blood. And as you can see there, that's grooming itself. And look at what it's doing. Exactly like our domesticated cats. So for all these areas that she can't really reach with her tongue, so she'll just lick the side of her paw and then apply it into that area, which is quite smart of these animals. Just looking straight at us. Or maybe she had that, decided to look the other way. And of course, after feeding, plus the temperature of the day, which is actually quite warm, there will be that panting time and again. But of course, she's got herself a patch of shade there that she's sharing with the other pride members, as well as that male that we believe or think is from the breakaway pride. And of course, these ones are still feeding. So as you can see, that lioness that was suckling the cubs have left this area also. And it looks like one cub followed her. And that other one still trying her best actually with that buffalo leg. Look at us canines there. Quite an older lioness. Wouldn't be surprised if she was actually involved in the actual kill. What a sighting. I hope that the viewers are enjoying this as much as we are. So, just a few minutes ago, the wind looks like it was blowing our side. And yes, we did smell this carcass. Not as bad though, not a bad smell. It was smelling delicious, as Odi put it. Alright, so Michael would like to know where exactly is the position of these lions at Ngala. So, Michael, I will say they are central west of the property. So I'm not sure if you or Michael have been to Ngala before, but yeah, there is this waterhole called Opidem. So they are quite close to Opidem, just north and west of where Opidem is. It's where these animals are at the moment. And like if you look at that picture, even fewer animals are feeding now. That like eventually with time, all of them might leave that carcass because there isn't really a lot left, and of course it is getting warmer. I'm just surprised that there are no hyenas that have made their way into at least this area here, or at least none hyenas that we have seen as of yet. However, we had some hyena calling not so long ago. That lioness just left eating as if she had me when I mentioned the hyenas. But looks like she's going for a hide there. I think for now, let's send you over to Djuma. Let's see what Tristan has got for us.
Well, we are still bumbling around, basically. We haven't had much luck with anything. We came back to Shadulu's kill now, and, well, the kill is down on the ground. No sign of Shadulu. It's a Batalier has trying to feed on it and has pulled the whole carcass out of the tree. Luckily, there's no hyenas there, so it hasn't actually meant anything. This carcass is just down on the ground, but I'm sure the Batalier will come back and will feed on it, and you know, she'll lose a lot of the carcass to birds of prey. If they start to feed there, it'll attract others and they'll start to come and grab it. So she best start heading back if she's wanting to keep that kill. So yeah, that's the kind of update from our side. Not much else has been happening from this sort of vehicle. We've been trying to check sort of Treehouse Dam area. We checked the southern side. We also kind of had to rush back to camp just to try and help out with the whole tech issue, which we did. So we'll see now if we find anything. But this is where Shadulu crosses into Arathusa right here. Her tracks go straight down the road and nothing coming back yet this direction. So she must still be wherever she is. She's with the cubs or something like that. So, all right, I'm going to carry on. Let's see what else is out here. Alright, so you're going to stay with us. Just going to say hello to Robin. Hi, Robin. You are? Yeah. Leopard. We'll see you later. So Robin is one of the Sabi Sand guys. Very busy man. Typically doing all kinds of interesting things, so it's good just to say hello. Alright, so we're going to try this again and see what we can go and look for and see if anything pops out. I'm hoping Shadulu will come out before the end of the drive.
My name is Trishala and I am a naturalist and safari guide here in Djuma Game Reserve in the Sabi Sands in South Africa. I think that the information that we provide, and most importantly the questions that you ask, give both you and I a really good idea of what's going on. My friend Fernando here, he's a flat-necked chameleon and I love them. They're just these gems that you manage to find in the bush.
Catch up with the guides daily here on WildEarth.
I've seen something I've never seen here before. Look at these cubs. One is crossing the river. It's being washed away, unfortunately, but I'm sure the mother is going to save her. Look at that. How beautiful. Look at that. One crossing, two to go. How cool is this?
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
My name is Lauren and I'm currently working in Djuma Private Game Reserve here in South Africa. I love answering your questions during the live safaris. It's my favorite part. It feels like you're on the vehicle with me and I'm able to teach you exactly what you want to know. If you want to ask a question on WildEarth, then you need to register on our website. Once registered, you must go to the live safari page and ask your question below the live feed.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to track number 5 this morning. And what we're looking at is this individual over here. And this individual was moving quite quickly. You can see by the dust being generated there. This is the front foot. Look at the size. Here is the back foot. You can see those very nice 3 lobes. And then the toes are there and steps on top of the kudu. You can see that the kudu is underneath. Steps on top of the kudu. Now, just to give a clearer idea of the size, it's probably like that. Okay, remember the knife is 10 centimeters. So you're looking at 12 or so, maybe even 13. Okay, that's number 5. We'll just give you another example of number 5, which is right over here. The front foot underneath, the back foot on top. Okay, this should be easy for everybody. Now we're going to go over to number 6, which has got number 5 in it, which is quite nice actually to see. Number 5 is inside, or is on top of number 6. So number 6 is this individual here, this individual right over there. And here is number 5 on top of number 6. You can clearly see the 3 lobes there at the back. Very nice example. But I know many of you are going to go immediately going to know what this animal is, but I don't want you to tell me the species of this one. I want you to tell me this one's speed of walking. Let's see if you can get that this morning. Here is the front foot. Here is the back foot. So how fast is number 6 walking? Number 6 is speed, everybody. And it sounds like Tristan has found a cat. Let's send you over to him.
Well, we found Shadulu. She's come out. Actually, I will say we found, we didn't. Robin, who was the guy from the Sabi Sands, found Shadulu, and shame he actually turned around and came quickly racing towards us to come tell us that she's on the road. So she popped out behind us. He said it was quite funny as we were driving, kind of just saw her popping out behind our vehicle. So it just goes to show you how sometimes it's just a game of chance and timing. But she's heading straight back to the kill, which is fine. We'll catch her. We'll get a good view of her now at the kill. She's going to be irritated when she gets there and wondering why it's not still in the tree. Pretty sure. She came, what's interesting is she went red dam side, and she obviously bent around, and then she's come out from this side up here. So the cubs are somewhere. There's another drainage line that runs north-south on a road called Parallel. It's also another road that I've seen or heard of her keeping Cara. So the cubs are somewhere in that general vicinity, I'm pretty sure. She wouldn't have been away this long if she wasn't suckling them. You see how she's looking now, because she's noticed, I'm sure, that it's not in the tree already. Let's see. It's a bit of a bad one, because I was hoping she was going to go up the tree, with the kill. But now she might just feed on the ground. Let's see. I'm going to just go to where the kill is, and we'll just park there and wait for her to come. It's going to be easier than trying to follow her, especially give her a chance just to look and see what she's doing.
A rather disappointing morning, I must say. We just had all the Talamatis drinking at the dam, but they've gone into the block now. It's a very tricky block. I'm just trying to think if I'm going to follow or not. I'm not entirely sure I am. We also bumped Mowati and Simbambili, and we sat at Tiani's Den, but sadly there was a internet crash. So it's been one of those mornings, everyone, but the Talamatis were all lined up beautifully at Gowrie Dam. They love that dam. They always come down. Anyway, let's bumble on, Beaks. They might pop out on Gowrie Cutline. They've got blood all over them. Which obviously suggests they fed this morning. But you know the Talamatis are a hungry bunch. I'm not going to bash through, but I'll put my patience pants on and they might pop out on Gowrie Cutline. Okay, we're going to try and hope the Talamatis pop out. And for now, over to Steve.
Welcome back. Welcome back. And who has stepped here? Let's see how many of you were able to come up with an answer for this individual. There's definitely a track that I have detailed many, many times in the past. And if you can't see it clearly, it is heading in that direction. This is the front foot. This is the back foot. It was moving a little bit quickly at this point, and then it slowed down. Cooper, it's a bit big for a leopard. The size over here is about 12, 13 centimeters. The biggest leopard I've ever measured is 10 and just over 10 centimeters in certain soil types. Males close to 10, females around 8. So centimeters are a very, very big part of it. And this one is, let's measure that other one over there. That's maybe a little bit more accurate without all the movement in the sand. And we'll get a proper accurate line here. Yeah, this one is 12 centimeters. So it's a smallish one of her species. And it should be very easily identified by these back pads and the size. That's why I always talk about size, everybody, because size determines a huge amount. Elke, it is indeed a lion, but it's a lioness. A lioness, this is a female. I didn't ask you for sex, I did ask for species, but those sort of questions can be asked. Male, female, and male lion would be up to 14, even 15 centimeters. So that is huge, huge, huge in comparison to 12, 13 for female. So quite a small female. This is very likely Lagatha, and I think they've actually tracked her and found her further down the road. She is not very good on foot. She's quite skittish and runs away. So when we found these tracks, we called them in, and Brent and the other guys have managed to track her down. So now let's go back over here to number 6. And just to give you an idea of the size, we'll see the size over here. But before we detail this anymore, we're going to send you back over to Tristan and his leopard.
Well, Shadilu is standing perfectly and is about to go up the tree, I'm hoping. Looks like she's looking what she wants to do. She was very confused when she arrived here, as if to say, kind of, what happened here that my kill is down again? Let me put it back up. There we go. Oh, it's effortless, isn't it? Well done, my girl. Let's move back, David, so we have a better view. It's just that we wanted to see her kind of coming towards the kill, which is fine, but because if you look from here, we wouldn't have got her going up from the nice side of the light, unfortunately. Just going to jump here, David. There we go. You can see very clearly that she's been suckling this morning. Fur is all matted. Can you see nicely, David?
Well, you can see it matted.
Wonderful. You can also see that milk sack is not full at all this morning. She's obviously just come from them. Well done, Mom. We shall go forward a bit for you, David. Just straighten it out a little bit. Is that right there? Okay. This is about as much grace and ease as you're ever going to see from a leopard going up a tree. She really didn't make that look very difficult, did she? She made that look super easy, unlike the way that Kalamba sometimes does things. Sometimes it looks very awkward when she pulls things up. And we know, obviously, with Shasha the other day as well, he was playing around with his food all over the tree. But in that case, it was very different. That's, a big male impala. Well, not a big male impala, but a bigger impala than it is a steenbok. Much easier when it's smaller. All right, well, we've had some success with Shadulu. Sounds like Lauren's had some success with the tawny cats. So let's send you across to her. What do you want to do here, Davy?
What a lovely family portrait. I'm glad I didn't go through the block. There was no need. 3 of them have already left, the oldest lioness, Blue Eye. So I imagine one by one. They don't like to be separated. One by one, I think they're slowly going to start to follow. Hello, everybody. I love those young boys and their manes. Do you see them? All 3 of the sub-adult boys are here. I've already mentioned Blue Eye, oldest lioness. Here we go. Row, it's 5 adult females and 9 sub-adults. 6 females, 3 males. You can see the 3 sub-adult males here, who have to have been sired by the avocas, or Darkmane wouldn't have tolerated them. There's little short-tailed beaks, little Tinkerbell, little Survivor, and it's the 3 boys that are refusing to move. Come on, boys. I am actually going to do a U-turn though, because we're going to lose visual. I'm sort of facing the wrong direction. Just quickly turn around. Well, they are heading east on Central. So we'll hopefully be able to catch up with these ladies, because I don't think they are done eating this morning.
Welcome back, everyone, to andBeyond Phinda Private Game Reserve. We're actually just down the road. We saw signs, tracks in Zakarina, and earlier that actually sort of went north direction into this area on our left. So we know it is somewhere here. We're just trying to have a listen if we can hear it moving through the bush. We've stopped in a bit of a Tambuti thicket here. That's these darker trees here. You can see. Timboti trees have got that characteristic dark, sort of chunky bark. Very good area for black rhino. They love feeding on the young Timboti.
Well, we're still with Shadulu, and she's now tucking in. Hopefully she won't finish this today, and we'll have her this afternoon again. It'll be nice if we can get her for a nice long sort of sighting this afternoon. But the way that she eats, anything's possible. She's grazed quite a bit of it already. And so it could very well mean that she'll finish it during the course of today. But we're just going to watch her feed and see how she goes and see how much she can consume. Well, there's much relish with the way that Shadulu is feeding at the moment. I think she's enjoying having some more food in her belly. She looks much better than she did yesterday morning before her scrub hair. So scrub hair and a steenbok in the space of 24 hours will certainly put some size back into that tummy. So she looks really good. Her neck looks nice today as well. I mean, you can clearly see there's still a little bit of seeping happening there, but it looks nice and clean, and all of her wounds are looking okay. For those of you that weren't watching yesterday morning and didn't hear, she's been fighting with another female leopard called Markham Sava. And so they've both got little war wounds from it. It's, I think, why we're seeing Shadulu again a little bit more. Apparently this fighting's been going on for the last 2 weeks, and they've had a few altercations now. And so I would imagine that maybe Shadulu's brought her cubs a little bit more towards Djuma, and so hopefully the sightings of her are going to become a lot more regular. She's such a beautiful female and so relaxed that it's always so nice when she comes over. So it adds another nice dimension to this western part of the Djuma landscape. It's been actually quite crazy how many leopards we've had in the western side. The eastern and central parts of Djuma have been deathly quiet of late, but the west has certainly been doing well. Tavangumi, Kara, her, Mulawati, Tortoise Pan have all been around this western sector, and even Kalamba to a degree has been coming a little bit west of late. So it's been nice to kind of see the shift and the change, and to see leopards starting to utilize this area again. I'm hoping at some point she'll bring her little ones over. I'd imagine they're still quite small. I have no idea how old they even are at the moment. We'd have to wait and see, but they can't be big. I think they'd be probably a little younger than Tiani's ones. So maybe somewhere around 8 weeks. Never know, somewhere around there. So they're not going to be too mobile just yet, but hopefully soon she'll bring them trotting over the boundary, and we'll get sighting of her on this side. They definitely aren't on meat yet, otherwise she would have obviously brought them here. So she's still going to be hiding them quite well for now. But I love how clever these mom cats can be sometimes. She went in and came out a completely different way. So what that tells me is that there's two things. One is that she went water first and then to cubs. And the second thing was that she's very aware
that tracks going in and out from the same direction can cause a scent trail to be stronger. So coming into the den from different directions and leaving in different ways will just stop or help alleviate hyena pressure, which is a good thing. I don't know if she's still going to be here this afternoon. The way that she's eating this, is not going to be much left at this stage. Yesterday was also ridiculous how she just chomped down that scrub hare in the space of 3-4 minutes. It's kind of in half already. So I don't know if she's still going to have much left. Her stomach is quite full though already before she started feeding now. She was quite sort of distended and round. So I'm hoping that she's going to feed a little bit now and then just get nice and full and leave it and come down, and she'll finish it up later this afternoon. It's also starting to get hot now. The sun is starting to kind of bake down. So hopefully that will just persuade her to come down and have a little rest. She's obviously been very busy through the night with killing, eating, walking to cubs, suckling cubs, playing with cubs, walking back. It's all a lot of effort, so hopefully she can have a good nap during the day and then still be here this afternoon. I can actually hear her crunching away. Alright, well, we'll continue to sit here and watch her crunch, or listen to her crunch and watch her feed. That's more like it. In the meantime, let's send you across to Lauren.
This boy here, this sub-adult male, was just walking along right next to the car, and it kind of makes you go, ugh, because you just see how large lions really are. And I know that sounds silly, but because we spend a lot of time with leopards that are really petite and sort of much smaller, when you see a lion, you forget how big they are. And he walked right into a scrub hare. It's not funny. The scrub hare got such a fright and darted off, absolutely traumatized. And this young boy looked completely perplexed. Huh? What just happened? What just ran out in front of me? I think he was a little bit confused. Scrub hare is completely fine, but it was a little bit entertaining. Now, if you remember last week, possibly a little bit longer than that, we had the Talamatis not too far away from Tlalamba. Tlalamba was about 100 meters north of Giraffe Dip, and the Talamatis were maybe 200 or 3 meters south of Giraffe Dip. Right now, we're in Giraffe Dip, and they're hunting. They've not got full bellies, they have got blood, so I imagine they've just had something small like an impala. They're hungry. It's amazing that we're back at Giraffe Dip with the exact same pride. They really just do take predictable routes. A few of them have gone into the block, but Giraffe Dip's a little bit tricky to maneuver around, so we're just going to sit and wait and see which direction they go. That poor scrub hare must be having heart palpitations. It's nice to see them. They haven't been on the property for about a week now. Okay, we're going to sit here and hopefully we don't lose them in the block. We're going to send you guys over to another live location.
Well, thank you, Lauren. Welcome back to number 6. Number 6, well, first, before we get an answer for the fastness or speed this animal's walking, let's detail, well, I'm sure you can start sending through your answers. I'm sure you have already. Let's detail the size. Now, here we have the trusty knife. There. And there, we're looking at close to 10 centimeters. 9.5 centimeters. And this toe here is very wide versus the back pad. Very wide. There's a back pad. So this is a young male leopard. That is the front foot. And here is the back foot over here that the lioness has stepped on. So look at the size difference of this male, young male, versus the lioness over there. The size difference is quite noticeable. And that's a young male versus an adult female. Jacqueline, that's a very nice answer you've given, but I don't know how to work out the speed with regards to kilometers an hour. I think the only thing I'm looking for that's quite nice with this regard is the speed. Is it walking slowly? Is it walking medium? Or is it walking very fast? It's very hard to work out how many kilometers an hour, but 5 kilometers an hour, I reckon, is pretty medium pace. I walk 7 kilometers quite easily, so I'd say 5 kilometers is pretty slowish for a lion or a leopard. But this leopard over here, let's have a look. Here's the front foot once again. And here is the back foot. Look how far ahead from the front foot the back foot is. Okay, now when the animal is stalking, that back foot will stand on that foot. That's what we call direct register or justify when they're stalking, moving very slowly. As the animal starts to increase its speed, so further forward, the back foot starts to go. So this animal was walking. I wonder if anyone is going to get it. If you don't know, we can discuss it. Not a problem at all. Young male leopard walking in that direction. You can see how far ahead of the front foot the back foot is. Look at the back foot as well. It's nowhere near as wide. The toe to the back pad is pretty much in line, a little bit over there. But the front foot is very noticeable how wide it is. The weight is on the front, so the front feet are much bigger. Quite fresh, but we know as well that the lioness walked on top. But here it has walked on top of this dove. Now, was this dove yesterday or this morning? Hard to say. So what is going on is the name of the viewer thinks this animal was walking very slowly. Well, what is going on? If it was walking slowly, this track here would be there on top. So the further forward from the front foot the back foot is, the faster the animal's walking. So this animal was walking quickly. Wasn't running, but it was walking quickly. If it was running, you'd get no definition in these toes here at all. But the speed this animal's walking is fast. It's walking quickly, and that is what they do if they're territorial marking, if they're walking to get somewhere, they're on the move, they're not in a slow, lumbering walk, walking fast to get somewhere quite quickly. And that often is seen on roads. When they start to stalk, you'll see they start slowing down, and that back foot starts coming closer and closer and closer to the front foot. I hope that has helped. We'll find you some more tracks when you come back.
Hi, I'm Dee from the south coast of England. Today I was told I have won the most amazing prize to go to Marataba. Oh, I can't believe it. I became hooked on WildEarth last year when I was trying to escape COVID, and animals are my thing. I just love them and I love what WildEarth does. So that's why I wanted to become an explorer. Just so looking forward to going out to Marataba. Want to do a walking safari. Thank you so much, WildEarth.
Sign up to be an explorer today, and it could be you jetting off on an all-expenses-paid-for safari experience. WildEarth Explorers. It's in your nature. As one of the industry's best and Fragasa Indoors training institutes, NJ Moorfield Guide College produces professional guides of exceptional caliber and gives students from around the world an incredible experience. NJ Moore offers courses to suit all types of interests. The full-length career course results in a FAGASA-accredited qualification and the option of a 6-month internship at one of Mall Family Collection's luxury safari lodges. Shorter courses are a great introduction for those considering a career in field guiding or even a life-enriching experience in your gap year. With spaces still available in July, don't miss out on this fantastic opportunity to live your African dream.
You are cheeky. That was a brave decision. Amber Eyes is... Oh. That is so magic. That was absolutely wonderful. Amber Eyes just gave that cub an enormous hug.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
Talamatis are hunting, I don't know what it is, in the exact location south of Giraffe Dip. I can't believe it. It's been remarkable. They all ran at the car, and then they all just sat next to the car. And they're moving into the Mulwati. That's the Mulwati. Look at that line of lions. They hear something that we don't hear. You see that? Wow, this is remarkable. I'm going to keep up a bit, Beaks, because this is a tough block. I think they're going to hunt almost in the exact same location down in that Mulwati. I love when it's so coordinated with lions. I love that. They're covered in blood, so they're fed last night, that's for sure. Yeah, they're looking into the Mulwati again, exactly the same as last time. They took down 2 impala last week. I wonder what it's going to be today. Just going to go up here, Beaks, and then turn off. Try and follow them. I didn't catch that name, but it's mostly through body language. They need to stay extremely silent in hunts. Sorry, I am focusing here. It's a very, very tricky block. But go over the edge, poof, you're in the Mulwati. Oh, just like that. There's things there that you don't see. But yes, it's mainly through body language. They stay silent. That's why they're all very coordinated and completely in tune with one another. Okay, I'm going to do my very, very best to keep up with these lions somehow. I'm going to send you guys over to Ngala.
Welcome back to andBeyond, Ngala, everyone. So firstly, we have got a good look at that other male that was feeding earlier here, and it is that Birmingham male. So there are some features already, like I mentioned earlier, that I think we missed earlier, but as he walked past our car, we could tell it was that Birmingham male, so definitely not a male from the breakaway pride. And of course, these hyenas have made their way into this care. Most of those lions have moved away from the killdeers. However, one lioness that's still giving these hyenas and the vultures a hard time here. As you can see, the other one looks like walking away now. And I easily counted to like, 12 hyenas or so here. Look at that. The hyenas are going for that carcass, but the lioness is making its way back. Sorry about that. This lioness is actually quite brave. Like I mentioned, I counted a good 12 hyenas. Some of them did bits and pieces, like the skin as well as those feet of this buffalo. But yeah, much as there isn't really a lot left, that lioness looks pretty determined to defend whatever is left of that carcass, which is actually just the skull as well as it's just the skull as well as the rib cage. As you can see, those vultures, actually one is on top of the carcass now. As you can see, those vultures are feeding. The lioness is still quite close, and sorry for all this breaking and transmission. Of course, sometimes there will be some issues in some areas. Just hoping that it stabilizes. And the lioness has made their way. Look at all these hyenas moving in on that carcass. Of course, the vulture took off. Now it looks like it's gonna be hyena activity. And there is also a pair of jackals on the background, ones that really, I don't think they will risk coming here with all these hyenas. From here on, just listen to the crushing of bones from these powerful hyena jaws. I agree with you, Nancy. Predators everywhere, and as you can see with these hyenas that are in their numbers, so like time and again they'll just move in and run away. Looks like they're still looking in that direction where the lioness has went. Like as you can see, quite a lot of hyenas in this area. But well, sometimes they're not as confident. You can see they've got numbers. They could have easily outcompeted the carcass to that lioness, but they wouldn't take that chance. Because, of course, none of them is willing to be the sacrificial lamb, or hyena in this case. But yeah, they have made their way. So much as we can say rib cage to these hyenas, it will go a long way. Look at these ones. They've got those feet in their height, playing a tug of war. The vultures have moved in. Look at how close these hyenas are to our vehicle. Can literally touch them away from the car. Listen to that one. Bumped itself against our car here. This is quite a sighting, hey? Exciting times indeed. Look at that. Listen to the vocalizing as well. Look at the dust as well from all that tug of war. There's the jackal at a distance. Turn back again. Look at that, hey? Just have to love hyenas. I'm sure wherever Lauren is, she is quite jealous of this sighting. I know she loves her hyenas. They're feeding on that rib cage, but constantly looking towards where the lioness has went. Look at that jackal just behind the hyenas. Actually, between the hyenas and there goes the black-backed jackal I was mentioning. And just listen to those bones crushing. Of course, the lions couldn't do that to the bones. It's just a matter of minutes, but you can see now, virtually none of those rib bones are sticking out now, which means these hyenas are actually doing a pretty good job on that carcass. How amazing is that? And of course, they do play this vital role, hyenas, because much as is those lions that did this kill, there are some other parts of this carcass that the lions can't really feed on, which of course those hyenas are helping with at the present moment. Oh, look at that vulture with some tags on it. Looks like a white-bellied vulture there. And of course there are some hooded vultures in the mix.
Tswalu is down from her tree. She's stashed her kill deep inside a spike thorn thicket behind her, and I think is now getting ready just to wind down for the day, which I don't blame her at all. She's certainly done enough today to warrant a good cat nap. You can see she's going to groom herself, get rid of all the blood, get herself into good shape. You'll find she's probably going to groom quite heavily on that left side, try and clean out that wound that she's got. It will be ginger, and the way that she does it is quite funny with her little back paw, but that's a good way of, as long as she just keeps kind of pushing out that fluid that's developing inside there, just make sure that she keeps it as clean as she possibly can with her saliva. I think she'll be okay. You never really want any of those wounds to get too bad. Remember with the Birmingham male, a lot of you will know this. We had one of the Birmingham males that got a massive wound in his face, and it eventually even had maggots in it, and it was just looked nasty for a long time. It took him a while to kind of heal up, but it's not like he lost condition, it just looked really bad for a long time. Poor old Mfumo. Eventually healed up though. These things are super resilient. It looks less swollen than it did yesterday, that left part of the neck. Obviously now I can't see it, but when I was looking at her earlier when she was walking, it didn't have that same kind of lumpy look to it. It looked like it was a lot more kind of flatter and cleaner. Alright, well, we'll stay with Tswalu and watch as she grooms herself and see what her next plans are going to be. So I think that wound is in such an awkward spot she can't get to it.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, wanted to discuss a few things about speed. Here we have Lagatha once again. Here's her front foot, and here is her back foot. Now look how far forward that is from each other. That's a big distance. And look how messy this track is over here. And you see all that sand that's been kicked up. You can't even see that toe there. So that's an indication of an animal walking quickly. The front foot is slapping the ground as she's pushing forward, slapping and pushing forward. You can see that disturbance over there quite clearly. That's an indication of a fast-moving lion, and leopard shows the same characteristics. If we show you over here, you'll see the same. See the mess over there in the track. Although the toe is a bit more clear, all that dust being kicked up as the animal walks, she's doing this. So if you walk normally, there's this nice track left. If you're walking quickly, it gets nice and messy. Okay, so that's a nice way of sort of checking out speed of an animal. Direction is very important as well. Freshness is important, and speed is good, because if an animal is walking really quickly, you need to know at what speed you need to carry on to catch up. But over here is a track that someone had guessed earlier. They thought the first track that we saw was an impala, and here is an impala right here. The impala oversteps. They have no ability to stand on their front foot because their hips are too high. So there we go, there's the one step, and here's the other step. Okay, impala are spring-loaded for action, spring-loaded for speed. They're not able to step on their front foot at all. It's just because of the way that they angle. So their hips are like my elbow, and their shoulders are like this. So when they step, it always steps over. Just longer legs enables them to jump the way that they do, to be spring-loaded the way that they are. Have you seen impala standing there and they just launch in the air? That's because of the way that their hindquarters are designed. Okay, well, we're going to slowly start making our way back to our car, send you back over to Ngala. That's got enormous amount of activity.
Welcome back to andBeyond Ngala, everyone. So we are still in that beautiful sighting, and it looks like time and again paranoia is getting the better of these hyenas, because even if they just and we do apologize again for the breaking transmission every now and then, but this is just something to not as easy to get away from. All the activities that's happening here is the vultures, hyenas, as well as those two black-backed jackals. So these hyenas, much as they are feeding, I did mention earlier, they're constantly looking towards the direction where the lioness went. And if maybe a vulture takes off from a tree nearby, you'll see these hyenas just scattered everywhere they run. So like I mentioned, that it looks like they are paranoid since they have seen where these lions went. But other than that, of course, the jaw-breaking, the bone-breaking jaws continue. I think it is sexual keeps hyena out of trouble for most part of it, especially against the lions, because they know that much as they might have numbers like this, at any given time, they can be vulnerable to these lions. So much as they do want to feed, they do want some food, they're constantly checking that direction, which I think actually it is quite smart of these hyenas. And knowing that they are scavenging, you see also how quickly they go about doing their things, which is feeding. Like they do it as quick as possible and then lifting their heads up to scan whether or not the lions are approaching. It is a lot of hyenas, Rosemary, that much I can assure you. I think the last time I counted, I saw like 12, which I think it's the second number of hyenas that I have seen in Ngala. First one, we were on a buffalo carcass, funny enough, that looked like it died from natural causes. We counted up to like 20 hyenas that day. Those vultures. Just waiting, hoping that these hyenas will leave something for them. This short space of time, see how much they have eaten of that rib cage. So all those ribs that are sticking out there, it's pretty much what left on this one side of that rib cage. Of course, it looks like they will go for those and also try turn it around and then go for the other side. Look at how quickly it's feeding here. Of course, occasionally they'll shy away from these hyenas, just get that bit amount of meat left. Look at them running. And I can assure the viewers no lions are making their way here. So as soon as they hear the sounds, mostly the sounds comes from these vultures when they take off from a tree landing here. These hyenas, what comes to their mind, it's like the lions are making their way back. And then they just scatter around. And as you can see, just few and few hyenas that remain in that carcass. So occasionally one will get like a good piece of that carcass and then run to a direction where they'll try and feed by himself. And then when it's done, they make their way back to this, or what's left of this carcass actually, which is just what you are seeing on your screen there.
Another wonderful guest with us, Sergio Real. Sergio is a holder of the Ticket to Dream.
I bought a Ticket to Dream because I love WildEarth. All of the guides have been awesome. We've been watching for years, and it's a favorite part of my day to get to watch the drives. I look forward to seeing lots of leopards.
If you want to go on safari with a WildEarth guide, whilst honing your bush knowledge and of course featuring in one of our shows, then head over to our website.
My favorite part of the drive today was definitely an elephant that paid us a visit and came right to our car.
Sign up to be a WildEarth explorer and you could be making your first ever on-screen appearance.
It's amazing being on a live drive in Djuma. It's just fantastic. The scenery is beautiful and the animals are even better.
The Wildlife and Environment Society of South Africa, WESA, encourages people to care for the earth. Through innovative projects, they aim to reverse the serious issues that we face in the world today. One of these projects is Green Coast, a proudly South African award for sensitive and well-managed coastal sites. This sustainability project protects our national coastlines while providing unemployed youth with a love for their environment and a hope for the future. WESA is a membership and volunteer-supported organisation. Every supporter is helping to change the only earth we have. Visit our website to see how you can help care for our earth.
Oh, it's going to be in trouble now. Oh, this is unbelievable stuff. Here comes a hippo in too. Go, Impala. There's a hippo coming in. I can't believe what we're seeing here. This is what we normally see in East Africa. It's all over. Hippo leaping at the crocodile now. Everything's gone underwater.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth Daily.
Well, the story with Shadulu, she's found herself a nice little comfy, shady spot. I don't think she's going to go anywhere from here. I think she's pretty done for the day. She's been grooming her little wounds and getting those all sorted out. And I think it's almost time for her just to flop onto her side and have a good nap. I think she's earned it. Being a mom is hard work. You got to move around a lot and find cubs. And maybe this morning she even moved the cubs. You never know how far she had them. Often I find when they have kills like this, they often move them closer. So she might have been doing that all morning as well, which made life which made life a little tougher. And maybe took her longer. I don't know. It's difficult to say, because we don't know what time she left the carcass, so how long she was away for is anyone's guess. I mean, she could have been gone for 5 hours. She could have been gone for 1 hour. She could have been, half an hour. We don't know. But either way, she's had a busy morning, and it's a good sign when you see her going off a carcass like this and moving and then coming back. That's always a good indication that the cubs are most definitely still alive. They wouldn't do that if they weren't. Anyway, we're going to probably leave Tswalu to herself, let her rest in the shade in the meantime, though, and send you to Lauren and those Talamatis.
I do not know how we managed to keep up with them. They keep darting and running after something, but they're up a termite mound right now, which is really, really beautiful. So we're just going to quickly zip around and see if we can get some views for you all. There's nothing quite like lines on a termite mound with a blue background. Can you work with the speaks? Oh my goodness, that's stunning. You will not believe how much ground they've covered. They're almost at the sort of Philemon's Dip Road. They're now south of Quarantine. And that's only going to mean something if you know the reserve, but in that short space of time since you last saw us, they have covered a remarkable amount of ground. Hello, you. They're hot now. They're all seeking the shade, finding trees and thicket, anything they can all sit under. But they're hungry. They're going to kill. And the dam cam really will pick up the audio if they do. But I mean, we got directed to Tambeta House the other day, and it was actually in Yala Dam and Buffelshoek. So the dam cam's a tricky one, but if they really do, they're very close to the dam cam now, just off Twin Dams Road. Talamatis really move. It's incredible. And that's why if lines are on your property at night time, it honestly does not mean that they're going to be there the next again day. Okay, we're going to sit here a little bit longer with the Talamatis, and we're going to send you guys back over to Marcus with his commotion.
Wow, look at how in this short space of time that ribcage gotten smaller and smaller. So like I mentioned, the paranoia of these hyenas, time and again they'll just run away, and that's when the vultures will move in and their numbers try to get as much as they can, as quick as they can. Like they are literally that fast when they get their chance. As you can see, it's just a few hyenas that are left there, but there are some hyenas also in the vicinity here, not really too close to this carcass. And now you see just those few that you can see, also those ones that you see on the road here. It looks like I mentioned earlier, they just take their bits and pieces. Oh, look at that. And just look at the vultures moving in now that, and look at how quick they are as soon as they get that, just that bit of chance when these hyenas are away. And this is what we've been seeing pretty much for the past while. Vultures moving in and then hyenas making their way back. What a beautiful morning indeed. Hey, it was rather an eventful one. Lots of predators, which includes amongst others black-backed jackals that looked a little bit brave actually to be in this mix here. But yeah, this is the beauty and the wonders of the bush here. Such beautiful creatures. And I would like to take this time and thank all our viewers who managed to join us for this sunrise safari. We appreciate all the questions as well as the comments. And here I would like to also extend our invite for this afternoon at 2:30 if everyone can join us. Until then, cheerio for now.